My name is Sally Ross, I'm a painter. I am a traditional easel painter. My art dealer describes me as a contemporary genre painting. So I paint either portraits or landscapes. There's a work at the Geelong Gallery at the moment, a landscape that's in the prize for this year. So I kind of flip between the two with the occasional still life. But I'm quite a traditional painter, which is kind of not really what people do now. People tend to be doing video or performance or sculpture, computer-based work. So it's a little bit old-fashioned what I do really. I think I've continued to paint because it's what I absolutely love and I'm obsessed by and increasingly obsessed by the more I do it. So I really didn't have a choice in the matter. There are so many things that influence what I do. There's certain aspects of it in my practice which is actually quite simple, where I found images in old books, old magazines, and I make paintings out of them. So there's something that's quite simple about that. On the other hand, what really influences my work and what my paintings really are a distillation of is all the art I look at, all the books that I have, and I've spent many, many years travelling all over the world looking at as much art as I can. I mean, I describe myself as an art monster. I can't walk past a church without going into it. I can't walk past and I have to go through every part of a museum and its permanent collection. And I also love to go back and look again, which I think is a really important thing to do. And I learn so much from other artists' work. I don't feel like I'm an artist that has all of these magical ideas inside me that come out. I really am in a dialogue with antiquity, I'm particularly passionate about 15th and 16th century Dutch painting, and I also love contemporary art. So all of this appetite feeds into my practice, but you know, half the time I end up with a green tree, but somehow it's infused in there. But it's really fed by a real passion for art. I really do what I love, so I feel pretty lucky. Look, for the work that was in the Geelong Art Prize, I worked on wood panel, which is a really great support to work on. It's just a bit tougher, more rigid than working on canvas. And I used, and it's just an oil paint. That work, I found an old book in an op shop in Barwon Heads, not far from Geelong. Found a fantastic image of Norway, which I then translated into a composition, very picturesque, and then painted it. There's a lot of strong, just like in the studio here, very strong blues and greens, and it's very beautiful and picturesque, that painting. Once you're in the studio, sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees, and so it's really great to be able to take the work out of the studio and get it into the gallery or somewhere else, or even when you see the work in a client's home, it's really exciting to see it. And I love the idea of the life of an artwork. You know, it has its life here, and then you take it somewhere else, or it's in the Geelong Gallery, and then it has a whole other life. So it's kind of, you're constantly evaluating, I think. You're constantly looking at it, and it's kind of a relief when you see it somewhere and you like it. I think in terms of making art and consistently keeping on working, I mean, it's not really complicated. I think I really like the idea of not hearing myself make excuses about why I haven't done something or why I didn't fix something. I think you have to be very attentive about what you do, and you have to, if you really care about it, you're going to do it. And we're constantly distracted. We're on our phones or we're too busy. I had every kind of crappy job you can imagine, and I always set myself the goal that even when I was working full time, you have to do one thing a day, whether it's sitting down at the kitchen table and doing a drawing. But it's that thing of continuing to work and have a good work ethic, because a lot of artistic problems can be resolved in the studio when you're working. And so I've never had an artist block, you know, where I don't know what to do. It's almost the opposite, where I don't know when to stop. But I think don't overthink things sometimes. Sometimes it's just good to get in and work with materials or experiment and not worry that the idea is not fully formed before you begin making your work. I think a lot of students that I work with become really obsessed with having a really clever idea to begin with. And a lot of really great art goes beyond cleverness. It's actually mysterious, and it's not something that you can really clearly explain. I mean, it's great to be articulate and to be able to explain what you do, but I also think sometimes you just have to get into a good, fertile environment where you're comfortable, where you're yourself, and you have to start working. So I mean, that's what I've created here. I have my music, I have my books everywhere, I have all my crap and I've got the right element for me to do my work. And so you have to get to know what you need and do it. But you don't always know what you're going to do before you do it.